You guys have no idea how bad I don't want to make this video right now. What's going on? 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 What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Matt Discat. Today I'm bringing you guys my reaction to Game 7. I got the playoff bracket in the background, 2K style. So I decided, instead of doing typical Heat versus Celtics gameplay in the background as the visual, like I did for Game 4 and 6, I decided let's do a bracket, playoff bracket, see what happens. Let's see what 2K predicts will happen. And as you see, I am upgrading Caleb Martin. I had to after that series. Damn it, that man outplayed Jaylen Brown literally the entire series. How the hell do you get outperformed by, how do you get outplayed by an undrafted player? It's ridiculous. But shout out to Caleb Martin. He has game, bro. When he did that reverse pivot fadeaway over his left shoulder, I was like, oh yeah, he's real. He is real. But enough of that, man. You guys can just continue listening. Like I said, the visual isn't that important for this. Let's get into it. And make sure you check the description for different topics we discuss in this video. Alright, so first I gotta congratulate the Miami Heat for winning the Game 7 on the road. As you guys know, my original prediction was Celtics in 6. And then when we went down 3-0, I said that Miami, because I'm a Celtics fan, for all my new viewers, I said once we went down 3-0 that the Celtics would lose in 6 games. I predicted that they wouldn't get swept and they would at least win a couple of games. They ended up forcing a Game 7. I picked them to win it because I was like, yo, they have all the momentum. A team has never came back down from 0-3 and won Game 7. They're gonna do it. First play of the game, Tatum gets injured. Just saying those words pisses me off, bro. Literally the first possession, man. I just cannot make this up to you, bro. But you can't. I'm not making that as an excuse. That is not the reason why they lost. Now I do think that was a determining factor. But our inconsistencies, the way we play at home, is very mediocre. We were losing to a team that didn't have Tyler Hero or Victor Oladipo. So I'm not gonna say that injury is the reason why we lost. Cause the way Jaylen Brown played, we were losing regardless. If Jason Tatum was fully healthy, Marcus Smart couldn't make a shot, and Jaylen Brown sucked last game, so we were losing regardless. But it just sucks that Tatum really had to go out like that, man, because you never know, he could have dropped 40. But who knows, man. Shout out to the Miami Heat, bro. I am rooting for you guys against the Denver Nuggets, by the way. Not that I have anything against Denver. Jimmy Butler's 33 or 34, and he deserves a ring, man. Especially after all his playoff success. He deserves it, man. So let's just talk about how the Celtics played, man. The Celtics came out with no energy, surprisingly, especially on the offensive end. I thought their defense for most of the game was okay. It wasn't at the greatest, but it wasn't like Game 4 or 5, but it wasn't as bad as Game 1 or 2, if that makes sense. So the defense was iffy. They did give up. They were as committed to rotating and getting back out on shooters as they've been over the last few games that they've won. And like I said, they didn't have that energy. It seemed like midway through the second quarter, I was like, yeah, this is one of those games where Tatum can't do anything, and the team is just missing a lot of threes, bro. And that's what it was, man. We were just our shot selection was terrible. Most of that is on Jaylen Brown, but our shot selection, the majority of the game was terrible. Marcus Smart taking threes. Jaylen Brown just pulling up from 30 when he's 1 for 7. I just can't. Like, come on, man. And this, man, I thought we addressed this last year after we lost the finals to Golden State. Everybody was saying all Jaylen Brown needs to do is work on his handles and get a left. Apparently, he didn't work on his handles at all. In fact, I think they got worse, like that ass. And like I said, Jason Tatum's ankle injury isn't the reason why they lost. The Heat were shorthanded the entire series, literally. But I will say it did affect the Celtics in this aspect. When Miami switched to that zone defense, because at the end of Game 6, they switched to the zone and the Celtics struggled. So the Celtics already struggled with the Heat zone before Tatum got injury. But with the injury, first of all, the way you beat a zone is to get dribble penetration or to get the ball in the paint somehow and collapse the defense. And then your shooters are open after the defense collapses. You have to find your way in the paint, alright? You have to attack the gaps. With Tatum injury, it shut down his mobility, so he couldn't put any pressure on the Heat's paint. He couldn't put any pressure on the Heat defense, because with no dribble penetration, you couldn't attack the gaps. Now we could have used him more in the post, but in Mazzulla's offense, even in Ime Udoka's offense or Brad Stevens, we never really post up Tatum intentionally. sometimes he just ends up in the post or the high post, and he isos and then scores that way. But we don't really post up Tatum too much. I think we should start doing that as he reaches his true prime and peak. He needs to learn how to use the post more consistently. But yeah, that ankle limited his ability to get to the paint, and that's literally how you get past the zone defense. So that's the only thing that I say the ankle affected. But like I said, our role players were missing shots besides Derek White, and Jaylen Brown was trash, so we weren't gonna win anyway, probably. So I'm not gonna blame the ankle. But like I said, it does affect how you attack the defense. Now let's talk about Miami. Caleb Martin was the most consistent scorer on that team. Now I do think Jimmy Butler. Some people are saying that Caleb Martin should have got Eastern Conference player. No, Jimmy Butler would still have the toughest defensive assignment. He was still the primary ball handler and playmaker. Caleb Martin got his open looks primarily because of Jimmy Butler collapsing the defense. So even while you have to give Caleb Martin credit, a lot of his looks came off Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler still averaged more points. Now Caleb was more efficient at doing it, but Butler was the best player. Clearly, let's relax. The only thing Caleb Martin did better than Jimmy was 3-point shooting, pretty much. But credit to Caleb Martin, he's a beast, bro. He's, like I said, I had to update his rating. And that's funny as hell. Milwaukee lost to Miami in the simulation too. That's funny as fuck. But yeah, Jimmy Butler deserved it. Bam. He did a very good job on Al Horford and Robert Williams. He was more aggressive. He's inconsistent at times. I saw a lot of memes about how Bam is similar to AD. I kind of do see the similarities, but with AD, I think it's more about his motor. With Bam, it's more about his shot selection. Bam just needs to take it to the rack instead of trying to prove that he's a point center, if you will. You're not Jokic, boy. Relax. I think you can be more of like a Ben Wallace type of guy, just defense and rebounding and alley-oops. Maybe a little post-up every now and then, a couple of 15-footers, but not really. And right here, this is, besides the Clippers and the Warriors advancing, this is a pretty accurate simulation right here. But yeah, now let's talk about and Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent has been huge even after that ankle injury he suffered, or whatever injury issue it was. I kind of forgot. He played pretty well. He wasn't quite as aggressive on the offensive end, but when he got his opportunities, he still was knocking down 30-foot shots. Like that man has limitless range on gold, I swear, bro. But the defense and just the tenacity and the clutchness to Miami were definitely the better team. Now, a lot of people have been saying the Celtics were the better team. That's incorrect. The better team, the better coach team, the better strategized team was the Heat. The Celtics were the more talented team, if you want to say that. They had the better roster, but the Heat definitely had the better coach. They definitely had the better game plan and system, and they had the more clutch player. Jimmy Butler's just more clutch than Tatum. If you want to debate Tatum's more skilled or he's a more well-rounded player, fine. But when it comes down to it, it's Jimmy Butler makes more plays in the clutch than Tatum does usually, unless Tatum's already on fire. So there's that. And then let me just talk about my prediction. I did think the Celtics would win. I thought that the Celtics would just have all the momentum on their side. It was hard for me to see how the Heat would bounce back after suffering such a heartbreaking defeat in Game 6. But they bounced back, just like how the San Antonio Spurs did against the Heat when Ray Allen made the shot. Yes, the Spurs did lose Game 7, but they fought. They didn't just back down. A lot of things, when they get beat by a game-winning shot, they come back out the following game and they play with no heart. Like if the roles were reversed, if the Celtics had lost Game 6 like that, and then the Heat forced a Game 7, the Celtics wouldn't have won. The Celtics would not have won in Miami in a Game 7 after losing a Game 6, if that were the case. So credit to Miami for bouncing back off the mat. That just goes to show you the perseverance and the character that team has. Man, like I said, the Celtics' home record sucks, but we've been mediocre at home. We didn't deserve to go to the finals. I was praying that we got lucky, and it looked like we were about to get lucky, especially after Game 6 when Derek White made that impossible shot. I figured, hey, we don't deserve to go to the finals, but damn it, I'll take it. No, boy. Inconsistency caught back up to us. What you mean, man? It's just very frustrating because we're such a talented team, but we're young still, man. That's why I had to take back trading Jaylen Brown, because unless I know I'm getting Anthony Edwards, I'm not trading Jaylen Brown from anybody else. I'm not trading Jaylen Brown for Devin Booker, even though Devin Booker might be the slightly better player. That's basically like having two Jason Tatums, and Devin Booker doesn't even have the same impact on the defensive end like Tatum has. So it's really a worse Jason Tatum. I don't want that. I'd rather it's either keep Jaylen Brown or, I don't know, trade Jaylen Brown and see if we can get Anthony Edwards. If we can't get Anthony Edwards, we're keeping Jaylen Brown. And I would actually prefer to have Jaylen Brown on the team. But credit to Miami, like I said, man, they came out aggressive. Jimmy Butler was aggressive from the get-go. He wasn't as hesitant as he had been on the offensive in the last 2 or 3 games when Tatum was healthy guarding him. It just sucks that Tatum got injured, man, because I really thought he could have did something. But the way the rest of our team played, besides Derek White, we were going home anyway. So credit to the Miami